Michigan was a great school, but from a basketball standpoint, they just hadn't done that much. So when we got together here, we wanted to win.
There was an electricity about this group of people. They were just, you could tell they were extraordinary. And Cazzie could bail you out of more situations. He was exceptional, and so were the other guys around him.
Meet Oliver Darden, a sophomore standout who gained his high school experience here in Detroit. Pivot man Bill Button. Larry Tregoning is one of the veterans of the squad. Russell has been averaging close to 24 points per contest.
My message when I got to Michigan was, I'm going to speak softly, but I'm going to carry a big stick.
He's like one of the hardest working guys on our team. I mean, he's also the best guys on our team. I don't think he took anything for granted. He loved the game, and he practiced all the time.
Action speaks louder than words, because I've been around people that talk all the time and don't do a darn thing.
To have 3 ball players, African-American ball players, was something that was unique and different.
I played at Michigan for 4 years, from 48 to 52. You know how many black people were in the Big Ten? 1. I saw a lot of change.
I didn't notice a whole lot of the racial tone, because I didn't feel that way when I went to Michigan. Dave Strike was super. I really liked Coach Dave Strike. I really did. I wasn't totally aware of the white and black situation. I knew about it. I didn't dwell on it. We just played hard.
But when we realized that we had the abilities to win, when you win, that erases a lot of sins. The fact that we had such a great school and the fact that we were winning, I think it brought us all together, because there was nothing for us to be negative about. We had high regards for everybody on our team.
And at that time, I was so excited about how the Lord had blessed me with this talent to play. I'm excited about this. I have catapulted on the scene. Nobody knows what has hit them, and I don't want them to wake up.
Cazzie, as a basketball player and as a person, he was sort of driven to be the best. He worked harder than anybody, practiced harder than anybody. In fact, sometimes, in my opinion, to a fault. I would go down on a game day afternoon and I would see him in a heavy sweat just working his tail off. And I, knowing that he had a game that night, would panic me. But he was a cut above.
Caz became basically the star, the leader of our team. You could see that Cazzie had a love for the game.
I think people got the impression that I enjoyed playing, which I did.
He worked. He earned it. He really did. He was the kind of guy that he didn't like to lose, but he was willing to put the time in to be a ball player.
Try to pass that along to my teammates in terms of enjoying the game. And I think the enjoyment came out of being prepared, both physically and mentally.
If you beat me, it was not going to be because I wasn't in shape. So that's what I worked on. Conditioning. I beat a lot of teams, with conditioning, because you were tired toward the end. I wasn't. Beat a lot of teams out of just fight.
It worked out very well with that. Caz, was a star, then Bill Button, and then there was me. I just got my little role of being a rebounder, because we only had one ball. Caz had that one.
For 3 years, I gave everything I had The Michigan people were very appreciative of that. Retired my number, House That Cazzie Built, very humbling, but I always wanted them to know that I didn't pass the ball to myself. I had great teammates.
When we begin to win, we begin to understand this is what I can do to help contribute, and that's what we did. Was that there was no confusion in terms of who the star of this team was.
There were so many parts to that team that were vital, but he was the glue.
I'm just having fun.
Nothing breeds confidence like success.
Michigan was good for him, and he was good for Michigan. So it was kind of like the beginning of a new era.
You couldn't get in the Fieldhouse, so the lineup would start early in the afternoon, and it would be packed. There were no reserve seats. They'd come in and just a mad dash for seats. Unbelievable.
The closeness, playing right on top of the Clyde. Yost was a good place to play.
Cazzie Russell was voted All-American for the third year running and named Basketball Player of the Year by AP and UPI. In his final home game, Cazzie threw in 48 points to break the Michigan varsity record, as he, Oliver Darden, John Clausen, Jim Myers, John Thompson, and Craig Dill led Michigan to their third Big Ten championship in a row.
To win the Big Ten 3 years in a row, and you look back on it and say, what does it take to have that again?
Capacity and enthusiastic home crowds have witnessed a renaissance in the maize and blue basketball force. The habit of winning becomes contagious, and this year's outbreak of a tremendous collegiate force seems to be just the beginning of a basketball epidemic. The Wolverines...
At Michigan, I poured my heart and soul into being the best I could be, and I thought that was what you were supposed to do.
Officially, the title of this new arena is the University Events Building. Unofficially, it's being referred to as the House That Cazzie Built.